A history-making 10 victories in a row. That is what the Fuchsia Royal Gators are on the cusp of achieving today as we come to you from Fuchsia City, but it will be the Olivine Carbons with that poison type immunity standing in the way. So the Fuchsia Royal Gators are actually at a huge disadvantage even with a 9-game win streak, but can they achieve it? Let us know in the comments below who you think will win. Will it be the poison types? Will it be the steel types? Let's go!
3, 2, 1, go!
And not only the steel types standing in the way, they're trying to achieve their own status because they want to get into an Elite Four position as they start out with Corviknight and their terrestrial Pokemon in Chestnut. It will be Toxicroak, keeping in mind it has that fighting typing as well, and Cantonian Muck starting out for the Fuchsia Royal Gators, but that is right. It will be Chestnut terrestrializing into this steel typing here, and it has been having a really good season as well, and Corviknight has that flying typing advantage over Toxicroak, as well as the roleplay from Toxicroak. Really intelligent way to start this off because it gets rid of that poison touch ability that it has because the Olivine Carbons are immune to being poisoned, and it gets the overgrow ability from Chestnut. As we get the Air Slash from Corviknight onto Muck, gets a good hit there. Should have gone for Toxicroak though, and a Blizzard being performed by Chestnut, but Toxicroak is able to avoid that attack, and so is Muck. Both poison types avoid it, and this allows Muck to go with the Toxic Threat. Now this will slow down Chestnut, but because of that steel typing, it will not be left poisoned. So that is unfortunate for the Royal Gators, as Toxicroak with the Tickle is going to lower those physical stats. Both the attack and defense of Corviknight has that 105 base defense as well. As Corviknight is looking to respond, it goes with the Workup. So it is going to reboost that attack stat that was just lowered and boost its special attack in the process. And Muck, looking to respond, goes for the Leaf Storm onto the previously Grass-type Chestnut, but is still not very effective due to that Steel typing, as Muck is cut into its special attack, and Chestnut looks to respond with the Discharge, but this is going to hit everybody on the field. It actually looks like it did the most damage to Corviknight, and Corviknight is left paralyzed. This is going to slow it down and might actually be unable to move, as well as Toxicroak with the Magma Storm. This will be super effective on Chestnut, but Chestnut is able to hold on. However, it is trapped in that swirling magma. That'll surely finish it off if this pin missile from Muck doesn't. This isn't very effective. It gets 2, but it only gets 2, so Chestnut is still hanging on by a thread with that Magma Storm waiting for it. So it goes with the Pluck, which is super effective, onto Toxicroak, trying to eliminate it so that it can prevent that Magma Storm from actually taking effect. It does take its Leopard Berry from Toxicroak, as Corviknight follows up with the super effective Psy Strike, and Toxicroak is eliminated. And this will actually keep Chestnut in the match because it prevents the Magma Storm from happening, and out comes another fighting poison type in Sneasler, who immediately goes with the double edge onto Corviknight. Gets a good hit, even though it's not very effective, but there is a little bit of recoil damage for Sneasler. You have to think it should have gone for Chestnut to get that elimination, and Muck sets up the substitute, cutting into its own health. That substitute does take its place on the field. And now we get the fling from Chestnut, knowing it doesn't need its Leopard Berry anymore. It throws it at Sneasler, and Sneasler tanks that hit, practically catches that Leopard Berry in its claws and proceeds to chow down on it. And now we have Corviknight going with the Confide, and you have to wonder what is it saying to Sneasler to lower its special attack there. Sneasler does look to respond by setting up the Psychic Terrain. This is a really interesting play because if anyone does not want to take Psychic damage, it is definitely Sneasler and really the rest of the Fuchsia Royal Gators. And now we have Muck setting up the spikes, throwing that entry hazard onto the side of the Olivine Carbon, so now any Pokemon that comes out and lands on the ground will land in those spikes and take immediate damage. And Chestnut, who's still in this matchup, goes with the Bug Buzz onto Sneasler. Again, another not very effective attack there, as Corviknight is paralyzed. It's unable to move. That paralysis has finally come into play, as Sneasler with the Screech onto Chestnut. It's going to greatly lower that defense, but I think if Chestnut takes any more damage, you have to think it's going to be eliminated, as the Wave Crash from Muck does go for Chestnut, and Chestnut is eliminated from this matchup. The Fuchsia Royal Gators are holding their own so far against the Steel types, who I cannot stress have that typing advantage as they are immune to poison type moves. And there is Muck being damaged by the recoil, as Corviknight is going to go for the Waterfall onto Sneasler. I'm surprised that Corviknight hasn't gone for a flying type move, as it's Goodra in its Hisuian form coming out onto the field, immediately landing in those spikes. Does the pseudo legendary, as that Aurora Veil will fail from Sneasler here, and Goodra is going to go with the power trip, trying to get rid of the substitute of Mux, as that substitute will take the damage, but we don't know if it'll hold on, and it does hold on, as Muck is going to respond with the Dragon Pulse, but it goes for Corviknight, who tanks that. Not very effective move. It surely should have gone for Goodra to try and capitalize on that part Dragon typing. This allows Goodra to go with the Psych Up. It's going to copy those stat changes of Sneasler's, if it's actually had any so far. I'm just trying to think, but now the Water Spout from Sneasler will hit both Steel type Pokemon. It's not very effective on Goodra, and Corviknight tanking yet another move, as Goodra with the Iron Head this time will surely take away that substitute that Muck has had set up, and it does. It finally fades from this field, which I'm sure the editing team does love, as Muck is going to respond with the Bubble Beam, another not very effective move here onto the Dragon type. Goodra tanking yet another move with that 150 base special defense. And there's Sneasler being hit with the Bug Bite, and Corviknight steals its Leopard Berry in the process. What is with everyone just stealing everybody's Leopard Berries and throwing them away? Sneasler goes with the Morning Sun, so it is going to restore its health. A very intelligent play, almost getting itself back to full strength. There's Goodra, goes for the Leaf Blade there on a Sneasler. Not very effective, does get in a good hit though, but Muck looking to respond for its side with the Headbutt onto Goodra. Not very effective, gets an okay hit though, but Corviknight is unable to move yet again due to that paralysis. This is great for the future Rogators as the weirdness disappears from the battlefield, and Sneasler with a chance to capitalize goes with the Tail Whip, so it is going to lower the defenses of both Corviknight and Goodra. And not only does Goodra have an impressive special defense, it has a base 100 physical defense, as Goodra goes with the Yawn onto Sneasler. Sneasler is going to grow drowsy, and it will fall asleep very shortly, but before that happens, a Horn Attack from Muck onto Goodra. Again, not very effective, but actually gets a good hit with that move. And Corviknight with the Mortal Spin. This will not be very effective on Muck or Sneasler, but it will make those spikes disappear from the side of the Olivine Carbons. And now the Rock Polish here from Sneasler, so it is going to boost its speed a great deal. It's already cooked on the field though, so you have to wonder, does it really need to do that? As Goodra is going to set up a substitute of its own, seeing that it worked so well for Muck. Goodra wants to give it a try, and Muck is going to go with the Acid Spray, but this will not work. Goodra is immune to those poison type moves, and this allows Corviknight to go for the extreme speed onto Sneasler. Gets a really good hit there, and Sneasler has finally fallen asleep after growing drowsy earlier on. And while Sneasler is fast asleep on the field, this could allow the Olivine Carbons to capitalize as an echoed voice from Goodra onto Muck. Gets a good hit, and Muck is in knockout range. Now it is an easy target, but first Muck is going to respond with a disarming voice, and this will connect with Goodra because it will bypass that substitute. It also does damage to Corviknight, who yet again is paralyzed, and it was paralyzed thanks to Chestnut earlier on, as Sneasler has awoken. And it is going to go with the Spite. It's going to cut into that PP of Goodra, yet again bypassing that substitute. So Goodra will lose some PP there, but it goes for the tearful look in response. Clearly unhappy with what Sneasler did, cutting into its PP there. This is going to lower that attack of Sneasler. Base 130 as well. And it cuts into that special attack as Muck, with the agility, going to boost its speed a great deal here. See if it can actually move quicker than Goodra. Just see that slime just darting around the field as the Sweet Kiss, and it is a very sweet kiss there from Corviknight, is going to leave Muck confused. Surely it doesn't want to do any damage to itself because it could potentially eliminate itself. It is that close. But Sneasler with the Mega Punch onto Goodra's substitute, not very effective, and that substitute will take the damage, and it looks like it's going to hold on as Muck needs to shake off this confusion. As I said, it could eliminate itself from this matchup, but it shakes off the confusion and goes with the Crush Claw onto Corviknight. Corviknight's able to hold on, and both Corviknight and Muck have been in this matchup since the start, but Goodra with the Flare Blitz onto Sneasler, a massive elimination. Sneasler is taken out of this matchup, and Goodra will get a little bit of recoil damage as that substitute takes its place back on the field. And Corviknight, looking to follow up, will go with a Flare Blitz of its own to complete the huge play. Muck is taken out of this matchup, and there will be a little bit of recoil damage for Corviknight as well. I do not think it will be able to hold on, and it hasn't. Corviknight is eliminated from this matchup as out comes Toxapex for the future Rogators. It will be Tinkaton for the Olivine Carbons, and Overquill does join Toxapex. Tinkaton has that Mold Breaker ability, but Overquill has that Intimidate ability to cut into the attack stat of Tinkaton. It's not going to hit Goodra, however, as the substitute's been set up by Tinkaton. We have a two Pokemon substitute in play at the moment. I've never seen this before, as we get the Brave Bird from Overquill onto Goodra. not very effective. It really needs that substitute to fade, and it will finally be taken off the field. So Goodra reappearing here. And there is some recoil damage for Overquill in the process as we get the explosion. And Goodra's taken itself out of this matchup, but Tinkaton will not take any damage from it because that substitute was in play. It has now faded, get some good damage on Toxapex and Overquill in the process, but we are now down to a 3 versus 3 battle as Toxapex is going to go for the Fury swipes here. This won't be very effective on Tinkaton, but it will get multiple hits. Now, keep in mind, even though Tinkaton is part Fairy type, so it would normally be weak to poison types, due to its steel typing, those poison type moves will not hit as out comes Copperaja for the Olivine Carbons, and Tinkaton has clearly had enough because it is going to teleport from this field. And now out in its place does come Orthworm as Overquill is immediately going to put it to sleep with the Sing. So Orthworm on the receiving end of that Sing is going to have no impact in this matchup whatsoever, and Copperaja is going to have to do the heavy lifting. But first, Toxapex is going to set up for a Shadow Force and banish instantly from the field here as Copperaja with the Boom Burst. Toxapex will be able to avoid it, but Overquill is eliminated. Orthworm does take some not very effective damage, but Overquill taken out of this matchup. The Carbons are back in front. Now comes Toxtricity for the Fuchsia Royal Gators, immediately going for the rise in voltage onto Copperaja. Gets a fantastic hit as well as Orthworm is fast asleep, has no idea what is happening on this field at the moment as Toxapex follows up with the Shadow Force onto Copperaja. Another good hit. Copperaja is taking all the damage here. Fuchsia Royal Gators know to go for the Pokemon that's awake as the Seed Flare in response onto Toxtricity. Not very effective, but it is actually a really good hit as Toxtricity responds with the Grass Pledge, but Copperaja is able to hold on from that not very effective attack, and Orthworm has awoken. Now it does go with the skill swap, but this is actually going to favor Toxtricity because now Toxtricity gets that Earth Eater ability, so if it's hit by a ground type move, it'll actually have its health restored. That is a really strange play by Orthworm. As Toxapex now, with the Reflect type, it's going to copy that Steel typing from Copperaja. Instead of going for the easy elimination and leveling the playing field, this allows Copperaja to go for the block onto Toxtricity here, so it can no longer escape. Not that Toxtricity was looking to go anywhere as it goes with the Mortal Spin, which will not affect the Olivine Carbons. They're immune to the poison type move. This is terrible for the Fuchsia Royal Gators because it allows Orthworm now to go for the Hammer Arm, but that's not very effective there onto Toxtricity, and it is going to cut into the speed of Orthworm. I wonder if Toxapex could move faster than it now, as Toxapex with the Dragon Pulse onto Orthworm, not very effective. Orthworm's able to tank that move, and this allows Copperaja to go with the super effective Psyblade onto Toxtricity and gets the elimination. Toxtricity is taken out of this matchup. Toxapex is all by itself as Orthworm is going to go for the Sandsear Storm, but Toxapex is able to avoid that attack, and it is going to go with the Psycho Cut now onto Orthworm. Yet another not very effective move onto Orthworm there. Copperaja with the Jaw Lock onto Toxapex. Toxapex is in knockout range. It can't run away. It has nowhere to go. Orthworm with the Thunder Shock is going to finish it off, and this will put an end to the Fuchsia Royal Gators 9-game winning streak. So they will not get back on top of the leaderboard. They will stay in second place, and if they had have actually won this match, they would have guaranteed themselves a spot in the Elite Four heading into the Victory Road Series as the Olivine Carbons move up into third place as well, and next round they will be taking on the Pony Timbers, whereas the Royal Gators next round will be taking on the Glissado Nordics. But until then, Nidorinos, thank you so much for watching. Let us know in the comments below who you thought was the best on field, and if you enjoyed what you saw, please leave a like, share, subscribe, but more importantly, always remember, you're awesome, and I'll see you when you see me.